Okay, so we had this problem in the university admission entrance exam, and I would say that it was the hardest problem that we had to solve throughout the test. It wasn't really difficult, to be very honest, but this specific test, which is for the state that is appearing on the screen, it tends not to be very hard in the exact sciences part, right? It used to be harder. However, in the past few years, it has become surprisingly easy because they kind of make it harder on the part of the human sciences in which you spend more time. So don't get very surprised about it being easy. It actually is. Brazilians also find it easy. So yeah, that's it's basically that. So this was the question that I probably wow, a little bit of noise here. This is the question that I spent the most time at. Actually, in fact, it wasn't really. The question that I spent the most time at was the previous one. However, this was the last question that I solved before I gave the exam to the guy that was applying it to us. I let this one to the very end because I wasn't entirely sure if what I was doing was correct. But then after I did like the entirety of the other 89 questions of all of the subjects, and I got back to it, and I did a bunch of stuff which I'm gonna explain here. And well, one of the answers was the one that we could mark on the report card. I was like, that's it, I'm going home. And yeah, so that was basically my experience. So let's explain how to do this. Okay, so basically the question it's appearing on the screen right now. It's in Portuguese, but I mean math is universal, so it just says that the real numbers x and y satisfy the following equations, and you should mark the alternative that corresponds to the value of the ratio of y over x. So what do? Well, you've got a bunch of logs, which means that 90% of the candidates just skip this question. So that's very common in Brazilian university division exams. People think the logarithm are always going to be extremely difficult, but they never are. Hold on, I'm going to close the window. So sound pollution is a very difficult problem in Brazil. Okay, but differently from this one, because this one is not difficult. You're gonna see that. So basically, the first thing that you need to do is to remember the following identity, right? You have log of b in the base a equals c, right? This means basically that a to the power of c is going to give you b. So this basically means that a to the power of c equals b, right? So this is the fundamental, basically what the heck is a logarithm. This is the answer for that. And you're going to use this. But you're also going to use another, like other two properties that are very simple. One is like log, like if you want a elevated to the log of a to the x, basically this here is literally just x, right? Because it means that you're gonna like this number is gonna be a number that you're gonna elevate a to in order to get x, right? So if you actually elevate a to this number, you're gonna literally just get x. Let me give you an example just to show that what I'm doing makes sense, okay? So imagine you have logarithm of base 10, you want 100, right? That is, sure, you can just get a calculator. 10 elevated to the 2 is 100, right? So this entire thing here equals 2. Now if I have 10 and I elevate it to logarithm of 10 to 100, right? This literally means that I'm doing 10 to the power of 2, which gives me 100, which is the number that I have right here. So this is basically another identity that you're gonna use, right? So also you need to remember that a to the m times a to the n equals a to the m plus n. So if you're multiplying two different potencies, you're just gonna add the exponents. So this is all the three stuff that you need to do, and then you're gonna use a quadratic formula, but honestly that's very chill, so let's not worry about it right now. So basically, let's do this one first. You have this 3 and you're gonna just elevate it to this, and then you're gonna have this as your answer, right? So you're gonna say that 3 to the power of 2, and you see that here we have a addition, right? So we're gonna use this property and we're gonna just multiply what we have. So 3 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of log 3x equals 3y minus 1, right? But then we already saw by the property that this just is x. So we're gonna have this one is 9. So we can say that 9x equals 3y minus 1, right? We have this, and this is very cool, very clean. So we're gonna do a similar thing to this one. Oh, I forgot another very important thing. I'm gonna leave an image on the screen because I really love this image, and you can never ever forget this after you see this image. So this basically means that if you have a to the log of, like, I don't know, cb, that is the same thing as log c of b over a. So whenever you have something multiplying the log, it's just like an exponent of the number that you are using on the logarithm. So in this case, we can just say that we can just, like, get these two and place it here, right? So we can literally say that this is the same thing to that. Then we're gonna write this down. So these two, we're gonna elevate to this, and this is gonna give us y squared. So y squared, let me put it in the same order that we're just gonna do the same thing that we did in the other one. So 2 squared times 2 to the log 2x equals y squared, because it was multiplying. And then you're gonna have this being equal to x and this being equal to 4. So we're gonna have that 4x equals y squared. Wow, so clean. Well, now what you want to do is to multiply these two things to something that you can just rip the x out of it, right? You can just cancel the x. So, and you're gonna have a quadratic. Then you are gonna just multiply this one by 4, right? And you're gonna multiply this one by minus 9, right? This is what I did throughout the test. I believe maybe I did the opposite, but wait, hey, it doesn't change anything. So I'm gonna have 36x equals 12y minus 4, right? And then for the other one, you're gonna have minus 36x. You see where we're going? We're gonna have this equals minus 9y squared, right? Then you are gonna just and you're gonna have minus 9y squared plus 12y minus 4 equals 0. Wow, but I'm just gonna actually invert it. I did the opposite in fact, just so that I can have the a positive. But you literally could just use Bhaskara. Actually, that's a funny thing, right? We call it Bhaskara in Brazil, Bhaskara formula, not quadratic equation. And Bhaskara is like the guy that discovered this formula, that invented it. And I think it's very interesting how we call it for the guy's name. The guy was like, I believe he was Indian, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, we call it by his name in Brazil, and people don't really do it outside, and I think that's very crazy. But yeah, so we're gonna call it, like, they're gonna use Bhaskara, yes. So yeah, I'm just gonna do it quickly because you already know, you know that. So you're gonna have 144, and that is gonna be minus 4 times 9 times 4, which, look at that, it actually gives you exactly 144, which means that your delta is gonna be equal to 0. So you're just gonna have 2, right, over like 12 over 18, right? And then this is gonna give you 2 over 3, and that will be your y, right? And then after you have your y, you can literally just figure out x very easily. Like, for an example, let's do it here, right? So you're gonna have 2 thirds squared equals 4x, and this is gonna give you 4 over 9, that equals 4x. So you wanna multiply 4 nines by 4. You actually wanna divide 4 nines by 4, and this is gonna give you this times 4 equals x. Then you just want to cancel these two out, and you're gonna have that x equals 1 over 9, right? And what the question actually asks of you is y over x, and you know that y is 2 thirds, and when you want to divide something by a fraction, you have to multiply it by its inverse. So you're gonna have 9 over 1, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. So now you're gonna have 18 over 3, which is the same thing as 6, and that's your answer. That's letter E.